All right, friends. This is the Easymoc Rangley boot that I love these boots. I've been kind of holding out, pushing off on covering these. I'm not sure why. Maybe I just wanted to wear them in more, kind of make up some more of my opinion on what I think of them. But I think I've done that. And what do you know? I really like them. I think they're very cool. We'll get into this style. This is sort of like an enigma in a way. It's like it feels like it's slowly becoming. Sorry about the focus there. We got this. Nice. It's slowly becoming Easymoc's flagship boot. Easymoc started. I think they started with those strange slippers and stuff. Those kind of like slipper moccasins. I actually covered one of those. Never thought I would cover one of those, but I did. But these are, they're slowly becoming Easymoc's flagship boot. I think for me personally, they're by far my favorite thing Easymoc has ever done. And they're extremely traditional. They're traditional moccasin construction with an apron toe. You've got the canvas quarters and like it's a very traditional hunting boot, really. These started out the kit. So I got these from Domestic out of Arkansas, and they kind of popped up over there, and they didn't exist anywhere else except for Division Road. Division Road had one Rangeley boot. And by the way, the Rangeley region of Maine is absolutely stunning. I've never been there, but it looks incredible, and I love Maine. I've been to many parts of Maine. That's where I saw my first moose, just one crossing the road, and that was absolutely awesome. And I was in eastern Maine, which is rare to see a big moose like that, but beautiful bull just crossing the road, driving down some country roads. It was for my friend's birthday, and I remember I was with a couple of friends, and they were just like, "Oh, there's a moose." And I was like, there's a moose. How are you not losing your mind? All right, back to these. So you've got a pebbled brown leather. I know. So, okay, let me just preface this. So they kind of existed only with Division Road and then Domestic, which is Domestic is not exactly a super well-known store. But there they were carrying this interesting Easymoc boot. And at the time, when you look them up, there was one sold out one on the Easymoc website. You couldn't find anything out about this boot. There was no coverage. There was nothing, and there still is a lot less. But there still isn't much. But there's a lot more. Easymoc has a really cool elk leather version of this with natural chrome excel as well. They're running for about $700, give or take. Millworks out of Milwaukee, I believe. They carry a really nice version that's most similar to this, with a green quarter, and man, yeah, just such a robust, gorgeous boot. So I bought them on sale. I got them on a ridiculous sale. That is, insane. But I do think these are close. They're worth close to full price. Question mark. It's always tough with moccasins because you're paying $700 for incredible craftsmanship in Maine. Something like this. This is hand lasted, hand sewn construction in Maine in a small workshop, the traditional way. But you do end up spending $700 on a boot that will never stack up to a Pacific Northwest boot. Like durability wise, right? But comfort wise, it wills. It will. Fit wise, it might be way better for you. Stylistically, you might enjoy that a lot more. I have such a soft spot for Maine moccasin boots. I just have a soft spot for them. Something about them just speaks to me. They feel ancient and traditional, but yet still like just super versatile, etc. Yeah, just the pinking on this edge is real nice. It's not so that this boot isn't quite as fine as a Yucatan, but it is. Pardon me, it is really cool. You've got your Vibram Christie. I love the black wedge sole. I do also have these in a sand suede version with a white Christie sole. Those are very cool. I'll cover those. I wear those a lot less. I should probably sell them. But I really like the cut in here. Rose Anvil covered this quite a bit. They messed around with it with their JK boots, but just having that makes it a lot easier to bend, and this is just like very, very pliable, soft, flexible boot. You've got your leather lining right here. Beautiful rolled edge, really, really thick and robust backstay and pull loop. One piece, I believe. It must be. It's just reinforced there. There you go. Beautiful butt on this one. And yeah, and you've got your apron leather moccasin construction. Very, very nice. This is a Martexan canvas, probably 15 ounce if I had to guess. Leather lined, very, very nice. All of these boots have a synthetic, like ortholite, glued in insole, which I think is, at this point, I almost just see it as, well, it's part of this boot, But if I had to decide, I would love a foam insole that's leather topped. I just think that would work better. It'd be more breathable because you're just standing on this polyester webbing canvas thing, and it just leaves a bit to be desired, and it's glued in. You might be able to pull it out if you really want, but it's a bit risky. Fit wise, I just take my Red Wing size. They have a bit of volume to them. Easymoc is a little bit all over the place, sizing wise, but my God, is this a nice traditional hunting boot? It just feels like a traditional Maine. Yeah, it's a woodsman boot. Really, really, really nice. Brass eyelets. And then, I'm just a sucker for this wax thread that they use for the hand-sewn moccasin construction. I like Easymoc. They're supporting American manufacturing. I believe it's their exclusive workshop now. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if anything like that even exists. If you got a workshop full of craftsmen, they're always going to be working. I'm sure everybody does little runs with, for other boot companies. But there you go. Easy. I don't know if you could see that. You probably can't. Easy is all. It's a green synthetic canvas insole. I guess that matches, which is nice. But yeah, it leaves a bit to be desired. You got your Made in Maine USA stamp. Not sure if you could see that. And really, really nice leather lining. They did not skimp on the lining there. Let's see. Sorry, it's having a hard time focusing. Aren't we all? It's a crazy world. Yeah. They're in a way they're very breathable because of this canvas, but then they're leather lined, and then they've got your synthetic insole. That, again, I'm okay with some foam in there, but I think it should be leather topped. Yeah, so it is a breathable boot, but I think it balances. In some ways, it's not the most breathable boot. Then they've got this this is why I wanted to take them off. They've got this really interesting thing that I think they've since updated. But I remember getting these boots, and I'm like, what is happening here? Like, what? This is like that, and then it goes over, and that's where the laces go through. Just a weird tongue. I do like that detail. Any sort of like left turn and stitching is always exciting, and it's like, did they pull it off? But yeah, it's your semi. Are these not gusseted? These aren't gusseted at all. Oh, they're just barely gusseted. So it's I wouldn't even call it a set. These are not gusseted. These are really comfortable. Would I wear these hiking? In a pine forest. I don't know. Have I worn these hiking? I've worn them in the woods. I don't think I've worn them on a real hike. I do like the lug sole versions. Those are very, very nice. They're comfortable, You always run into this tough thing with a lot of these boot companies. It's like, okay, so you're going to spend $4, $5, $6, sometimes $700, $800 on these boots. And, I do always I go in two directions. I go, all right, what else can I get for this price range? And then the opposite perspective is there anything else even like this? Is there any other boots like this? Not really. It's go find me another canvas moccasin boot with the beautiful green canvas and a stunning brown, pebbled leather. There's just not many, if any, versions of this boot out there. Yucatan doesn't really make a version of it right now. I'm sure they could. I don't think Raincourt is. Quadi doesn't have any, kind of boots that are quite like this. Visvim for like, $2,000 and made in China, they probably have a version, something sort of like this. They've got like their duck hunter boots and stuff like that. But, I'm sure, what is it, JK Boots or Frank's would make you something kind of like this. Oh, no, Frank's. Yeah, I'm sure Frank's, they have made stuff that are sort of similar. But to be honest, aesthetically, for a P&W boot, I'd rather just get a P&W boot. I know Nix did their collaboration with, what's that company out of New Jersey that's making all those nice jackets? Yeah, what is that company? It's slipping my mind. But you can throw it in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Carl Morawski keeps collaborating with them on the workhorse jacket. They had a canvas boot thing. I don't know. Russell Mock, obviously, Russell Moccasin. They're iconic for making a boot like this. And then Goki. Goki still does offer a boot like this. And now Field and Stream by Goki, which is an imported kind of traditional version of this kind of boot. They are making something sort of similar, but not quite with this amount of beauty and craftsmanship and attention to detail and interesting patterning and design. Those things just don't come close to this. So, for a hand-sewn, handmade in Maine moccasin boot, this is worth quite a bit, and some people will be worth the retail price. Now, those elk leather boots are so cool. They're like partially elk, partially natural Chrome XL. Right now, I think the best version is essentially the closest one to this, which is available, I think, through Millworks. Maybe Mild Blend Supply. I think it's Millworks out of Milwaukee. Anyway, I've rambled enough about these boots. Very, very nice. Very cool. I will eventually do my other version of these and then talk about maybe selling them. They're not perfect. You got a stitch hanging out over there. They're a rugged, robust kind of cabin boot. That's what I'd call them. But they're incredibly comfortable. I do wear them. Man, I don't have those right now. Where is it? I do. Man, oh man. Oh God. Okay, we got it. I'm gonna get it. I'll do some editing. Give me a second. Okay, we've got it. The perfect belt for this boot. I mean, come on. It's like they were, it's like it's custom made for it. This is a Filson belt. Yeah, how funny. So I do almost like religiously wear these together. It was made in the Filson workshop in Seattle. Man, the focus is not having a great day. And double prong workshop belt. So, I mean, is that a combo or what? Is that a combo? Anyway, kind of a fun little detail that I enjoy. If you look close enough, it's not quite. It's not quite the same color green canvas. And if you're crazy like me, that might even bother you sometimes. But anyway, you can have fun with this stuff. That's kind of my point. You could get a little crazy or super. I mean, I'm doing a video about boots and you're watching them, so we're all a little bit crazy. Yeah. Anyway, you get the point. So that's that. Easymoc Rangley boot. Very, very unique, interesting boot. I enjoyed a lot. I love wearing these. They're a little bit difficult to slip on and off. Just something about how this ties, and but not terrible at all. And they are very comfortable. I don't love the insole. It's just like it feels both comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time. And I guess you could argue that's what a leather insole does, but flipped in the opposite. But personally, I think these are very expensive boots. Are handmade in Maine. I'm okay with a little bit of foam in there, but wrap that sucker in leather. You know what I mean? All right. Thank you so much for watching. Apologies for not being super consistent with the videos. I moved. So I'm getting settled into my new house that I bought, and so we'll get more consistent as time goes on. All right, God bless you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.